Hi everyone, how are you going? I know that last week was extremely tense, irritating. It was like we were in a combustion engine ready to explode. It was fueled with an anxious, sort of never-ending, non-respite kind of irritation and angst. And it was like all of this was brewing under the surface. And it was such an intense week, there was no way I could get a video out. So for this week, happy to report that probably in the last day or so, I felt a slight easing off of the pressure, because it was like we were all in this pressure cooker, this pressure chamber. And right now the angel's actually showing me an image of those pressure cookers, but it's being left on and it's over boiling and it's on the stove and it's just like the water is just bubbling out and it's at a high temperature, or that sort of fiery bubbled up energy, and that lid just cannot stay on. Okay, so the lid's lifting up and down, and you know, if anyone felt the extreme, that lid would have just burst. So with this new easing off of the energy, we will still find that it's up and down. It's not going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. It's going to be like A, B, back to A, D, F, G, and then you're going to go B and forward again. So it will be a bit zigzaggy, but I think that a lot of us will be just feeling that really the best way to say it is just an easing off, or the pressure off. But it will be up and down, okay? So this video is for the period of Monday 18th through to Sunday 24th. I do like to start my week on a Monday. It's actually something that really irritates me about calendars. When they start on a Sunday, just doesn't make any logical sense to me. So we'll start off with Monday the 18th, and we have an astrological event of Venus being semi-sextile with Pluto. And Venus is that planet all about love and beauty and the arts. Pluto is quite deep, so I feel with this there will be an actual or a want of a deepening of a particular relationship. It could be more than one relationship, such as your partner, your children, your friends, that kind of thing, and it could be specifically to one person. So it's wanting to move at a deeper level, but I feel that this is not just random. This is birthed from all the irritations that we faced through the Scorpio Mercury retrograde, which we are still going through, but that was particularly bothersome and burdensome last week. And that will be easing off when Mercury goes direct this week. Yay, because a lot of us are waiting for that. But I feel that really brought up a lot of stuff, okay? So you will have found that whichever people in your life irritate you the most, they particularly were in your face, okay? So if not in person, then via communication. And because Mercury was in retrograde, there's miscommunication. So not just, so that can be both by, via cyberspace as well as in person. So there was this kind of just irritation and butting heads, okay? So now with that also, and even, so you might have had a person from the past pop up, or you might have experienced just someone that is close to you at the moment. And if not, or added to that, you will also have experienced memories coming up. Bad times, bad memories, things that are unresolved, irritations, that kind of thing. They really rose up to the surface. And that was really uncomfortable for a lot of people, because it doesn't matter how much we try to move on. We go through these endless cycles of looking at things, having things rise up, releasing them, and we think we're done, and then the next one comes along. So it really is like the angels are saying now, it's not just, we can't expect it all to happen like one giant nuclear bomb and then that is it, and then we start anew. It is gradual process of these mini bombs and mini waves and mini irritations that will help us to realign back to where we want to be on a higher level. But we've got to go through that stuff first in order to clear the highway, so to speak, so that then we can move forward. So they're showing me a series of roadblocks now on a road or a main highway, such as they're showing me Route 66. I don't know if that will have any other meaning, possibly on the news or in some other way. But think of it as the highway of your life. And it's filled with blocks, and now they're showing me on the sides there is like land, a lot of land that's sort of dry, barren or farmland, and there's side avenues. Now some of those side streets are nice paved roads, and others are like gravel. Some we want to meander into and rest under the shelter of a tree, and that's the periods where we want to retreat, relax, and go deep into ourselves and just regroup and have a break. And sometimes it's a delay, like a blockage or a detour or a rerouting. A lot of that is the Mercury retrograde energy too. And at other times it's just, a different way to go, a different road is shown, or there's a fork, and we make a decision. Do I go left? Do I go right? So this Venus aspect with Pluto is bringing up relationships and an evolution, and I want to say a potential for evolution, because for some people they will be able to evolve in relationships, and for others the stirrings would be too much and the other person might still be undergoing whatever energy and thing that they're going through, and so there could still be irritations, right? So it's a process, but there is that potentiality for a deepening. And if it's not something that is happening, there's definitely that longing and the desire for that. And on Tuesday the 19th through to Sunday 24th, we have that big expansive planet of Jupiter, and it is aligning with the galactic center. And this is just something that happens once every 12 years. Jupiter is there's a positive feeling with that Jupiter expansion feeling, and really, if you start to understand and work with energy, you understand what expansion is. It's the opposite of contraction. And it's like that contracted feeling that we felt last week or in recent times, where everything's like this. And now there's this expansion pushes that out. So it's like a big expansive energy being offered, and it's like doorways being opened. And I feel with that sense of relief and release. But if we're still harboring onto things and letting things stir and rise within us, then it's not going to be as smooth sailing as for others who are willing to let go and move on to the next stages. As this happens, it lines up with Sagittarius too, and we are moving now into the season of Sagittarius coming up. And Sagittarius, what I'm getting from that right now is Sagittarians are quite blunt, right? They're to the point. It's about the truth. It's being candid. So I'm feeling truth coming out in media, which again will be, I've got, so I don't know if you felt that, but I've literally got goosebumps all over me from that. So my throat chakra feels, there we go. So yeah, this is world stage media stuff. This is also, could be you on a personal level, okay? This is truth revelations. So it's important at this time to speak your truth, be in your truth. On that note, I want to still recommend the crystal Lapis Lazuli, that lovely, deep, dark blue, exotic, beautiful crystal that I talked about in a previous video. So do watch that or look it up on my website. So there is this heightening of truth energy, wanting your voice to be heard, and really getting down to expressing your deep feelings. So you can see how this all sort of merges and blends together. And as Jupiter is aligning with the galactic center and it being in Sagittarius, there's a feeling of like, I'm seeing now a key open a door, and as it opens, all this light pours forth. So there's this opportunity to open that door, have a breath of fresh air, but also to see things from a higher perspective. I'm feeling it's time to assimilate and anchor down all you've been learning. So assimilate it. What has been happening with you internally, especially? How might that be reflected on the outer, in your outside world? And then as you progress, be wary not to digress. And in order to do that, anchor down yourself and and be like, okay, I'm willing to grow and breathe and expand from here. So in the middle of the week on Wednesday, Mercury is finally direct. Yay. So that means that this Mercury retrograde we've been experiencing in Scorpio, that intensity is starting to wear off and die down, and it will be in its outer phase for a couple of weeks. And on Friday, the sun is entering Sagittarius. And the sun, as I've said previously, is this illuminating bright force. And Sagittarius is all about that truth and candidness. So I just want to reiterate again that it's important to really work on resolving things. Also pay attention to what you might have written down in diary or journaling, or even looking at old journals, and just going back to some inner self-reflection before you move on to the next phase. Finish off anything that needs to be finished off, anything that's dwindling and hanging on before the next period. But also the angels show me this image of a lion licking its paws, okay? Or a cat licking its wounds. And what I'm receiving from that is that, yeah, some wounds, some deep, deep wounds have been rising up. And they're showing me now like a wound opening, okay? So, and that you've had to really go in, get into that inner child. Anger might have sort of flared up, or sensitivities, and now, okay, so I'm on a healing journey, and I'm going to lick those wounds now and patch up my skin, and everything is going to be okay. It might not be perfect, and there might be scars. However, I'm going to contain it within myself, and I'm going to understand it on a deep core heart level, give it love, give it nurturing and healing in order to move on to the next phase. So with that, I really felt that Tiger's Eye is also a crystal I've mentioned recently. Keep working with that. That will help you come into your power, be empowered, be protected. And it's really, they're showing me like a golden sun. So really working with golden energy if you like to do energy work or visualizations, or just have gold around you. So you might have gold jewelry, things like that. So I feel that would be really wonderful to work in and to absorb everything that you're going through, and this period of kind of, I want to say change, but it's not like massive, wow, major transformation, but it is a period of integration and transition. We have been moving through a period of different cycles and seasons, and so we'll be moving out of Scorpio and into Sag. So, you know, and then there's the moons as well. So really pay attention to how you get affected by moon energy. There was the Taurian full moon last week, and how that compounded you, how that affected you. Perhaps you were knocked out. A lot of us were feeling exhausted, tired, restless, even nauseated at times. So now we're moving out of this sense of discontentment and dis-ease, out of the shadows, and a new light is sort of a glimpse of new light on the horizon, right? And I feel like I want to say with that, we're moving out of uptight and feeling condensed into opening ourselves up more. This is like the traditional Three of Cups in Tarot, which is always about celebration. So to me, it just feels like an upliftment. So there'll be time during the week with the potential for upliftment, which is great. And I really recommend that you sort of kick up your heels and start to really feel that sense of Sagittarian energy of liking to socialize and being a bit more upbeat, having fun and letting your hair down. And during this whole time, there's this feeling of self-knowledge, exploring what's hidden, what is rising from your deep within your consciousness, what is wanting your attention. And with that, I'm getting your guides. So perhaps in your own time, find a meditation to help you reach and access your guides. Begin to talk with them more, look up to the stars, that kind of thing. So on Sunday, Venus is conjuncting with Jupiter, and Venus is that beautiful sort of open, love, positive heart energy. And then we have that Jupiter expansiveness. So together they unite with this beautiful potential for heart openings. See, right now I feel that sort of heart chakra energy, right? This is where I feel there's an opportunity also for the tides to turn, and I'm seeing the key again. So to lock up that old door and be ready to open a new door. And just they're saying too though, be careful when you lock up an old door, because that doesn't necessarily mean that that you should block your feelings and push them right down, because the reason why they have to rise up is for them to be expressed, seen, noticed, acknowledged, processed, healed, transmuted, and we move on. The one thing we have to really watch out for this week especially is Mars, you know, the war planet, being opposite of Uranus. So this means that whenever two planets are in opposition, it's like this, okay? And so it builds up, there's a festering feeling, and we really felt a festering feeling last week. So be aware too, there'll be this festering feeling of this push and pull, this intensity, this feeling of anxiety, nervousness, restlessness, agitation, anger, and you could boil up like a volcano. So this is, again, so I would say work on stuff that's been coming up from recent times, and also whatever might be birthing this week. But I'm feeling too that if you have been processing things and aware of things, that whatever brews up now will be those last remnants, right? So for example, if it's an important relationship, and I discussed relationships before, if there's few things that are brewing particularly, so for example, if your sister just agitates you because she doesn't respect you, so now that will be the thing that might come up, and for you to like brew within you, and you might want to just lash out at your sister when she calls you and out of the blue and asks you to help her with something, right? So that's just an example. So just pay attention to those feelings. So what I really recommend is to work on recognizing that you might get irritated, rash, brash, curt, impulsive. You might want to rebel against structures and obligations and responsibilities, easily sort of like lash out. So breathe, come back into your grounding, and really concentrate on coming back within yourself and to your center, into your calm. And so that if things arise, you can sort of stand back a bit before you. So I want to say breathe, take a few breaths, wait a moment before you lash out if you can. Go for walks to really release and ease out tensions and stresses and align more with the positive energy that's streaming through. But you're only human, just like me. I lash out. We all do. It's cool, yeah? But just, you know, forewarned is forearmed. And lastly, another crystal that I've briefly mentioned on Facebook recently is Unakite. I wrote a whole article on it last week, so I'll put the link below this video. And with Unakite, it really helps you balance and release these sort of emotions that are festering. And it's actually a crystal of Scorpio, so it's by no surprise that it just came up last week when we're sort of going through a lot of this Scorpio Mercury retrograde energy. And it's just a beautiful stone to help you with unwellness, to balance you out, to make you feel more in requiem and harmony. And it helps calm you down when there's all these sort of erratic energies. So with that, look, all crystals can be helpful. So I'm also guided to say black tourmaline for protection, smoky quartz for releasing of energy, any kind of healing, sort of comforting, nurturing crystals such as prehnite, and of course any crystal that you feel drawn to yourself. So pay attention, see what that is, and let me know. Write down under this video how things worked for you last week, what you feel about this week, what resonates most with you, what crystals you might be using, and what messages you're receiving yourself. Okay, look forward to talking again soon. Bye, best of luck, lots of love.